This is Yoruba land, the homeland of the Yoruba people. With a population of about 46 million, the Yoruba are one of the largest ethnic groups in Africa, and one of the three major ethnic groups in modern day Nigeria, along with the Hausa and the Igbo. The Yoruba built one of the largest empires in West Africa, crafted some of humanity's finest art, and looked damn good doing it. Their artists are famous worldwide, and no other African culture has affected the Americas and the Caribbean as much as the Yoruba, who left a mark through people, dance, food, and the religions of Santeria and Candomblé. So, who are the Yoruba? What is their history? And what does it have to do with a universe-creating chicken? Well, let's find out. Geography. Yoruba land is a cultural region that stretches across southwestern Nigeria, Benin and Togo. Most Yoruba live in Nigeria, where they make up 21% of the population. The largest cities in Yoruba land are Ilorin with 1 million people, Ibadan with 3.8 million and Lagos, or Eko in the Yoruba language, with 15 million people. That's 3 times more people than live in my entire country. Yoruba land is a diverse landscape, with dense tropical forests and mangroves in the south, and northwards you'll find a rugged highland region where you can see these cool inselbergs like Olosunta. And the north also has a Guinea savanna region. Yoruba land is home to the Mona monkey, the African forest elephant, leopards, the adorable Senegalese bush baby, and parrots, which have played a sacred role in Yoruba history. Language. There are many different Yoruba groups with their own unique cultures, but they are united by the Ede Yoruba, the Yoruba language, spoken by 47 million people. Yoruba is a tonal language, like Chinese, where the tone you use influences the meaning of the word. The tonal aspect of Yoruba means that it can be mimicked easily. For example, there is actually a form of whistled Yoruba used to communicate over long distances. This means people who have arrived for me, greetings at work. The Yoruba talking drum also speaks by mimicking the tonal and rhythmic features of Yoruba words. For millennia, the Yoruba passed on their history orally, and so the talking drum acted as one way to pass history from one generation to the next. Islam arrived in Yoruba land in the 14th century from Mali, Africa's great centre of Islamic learning, and brought with it Ajami, a form of Arabic script, which was the first script the Yoruba language was ever written in. In the 19th century, Christian missionaries introduced the Latin alphabet which Yoruba is now written in. Yoruba is just one name for Yoruba speakers. They also call themselves Omo Ile Kara Ojire, literally meaning the children of the land where we greet good morning, did you wake up well? There is a stereotype in Nigeria that it takes Yoruba 10 minutes to say hello. Yoruba are big on greetings, kind questions and showing respect. If one Yoruba walks by another Yoruba and they don't greet each other, you can safely assume there is some drama happening. There are many greeting styles depending on the person, time, weather and event. The most basic hello is simply pele or epele. If it's rainy, you can greet with ku ojo. If someone has just given birth, you greet with ku ewu omo. And if you're greeting an elder sitting down, you say e kujoku. Yoruba always greet elders with e. Elders get the most respectful greetings. Traditionally, when greeting elders, a woman may kneel down while a man may lie chin and chest to the ground. History. Around 4,500 years ago, ancient Yoruba speakers had already settled in the thick forests of West Africa and began farming yam and oil palms. It's difficult to know exactly the size of the early Yoruba civilization, but through oral traditions and archaeology, we know Yoruba culture was here, 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 and here. So it's safe to say it was pretty big. The Yoruba preserve their history orally and have multiple creation stories. One version says, in the beginning there was nothing but water and the sky above. The supreme god Olodumare sent down Obutala to create the earth. Obutala descended to earth on a chain armed with nothing but a snail shell full of dirt, a palm nut, and a chicken. He dropped the first piece of dirt where the city of Ife is now located. Ife means the source of the spreading. And with a lot of pecking, the cosmic chicken spread the earth to create all of the continents. Soon the palm nut sprouted, and that was the beginning of life on earth. In another version, during the creation, Obutala did well at first. He even started forming little clay figurines that became the first humans. But Obatala got really drunk on some palm wine and couldn't finish the job of creation, and so the god Oduduwa finished it for him. It took about 4 days for the world to be created, and so the Yoruba calendar is made up of a 4-day week. Oduduwa is recognized as the father of the Yoruba people, and Ife is their symbolic center. Around the 700s BCE, the Yoruba were already producing iron. This was a huge development, one, because they somehow discovered ironworking before bronze, which has driven historians mad for years now, and two, because iron slaps. With iron hoes, machetes, axes and other tools, the Yoruba pushed the dark, dense forests away from their settlements. This opened up new farmland, settlements expanded and trade grew. Iron was crucial. One of the Yoruba's most important gods, or Orishas, was Ogun, the god of iron and blacksmiths, also called the creator of civilizations. As the thick forests turned into thriving farmland, the once separate towns joined together forming Ilu, something we could compare to city-states. At their centre was the Afin, which was the palace of the Oba, or king. Right next to the palace was the main market, the Oja Oba. The rest of the city radiated out from there. The Yoruba became one of the most urbanized groups in ancient Africa, and what do urban societies have? Craftspeople, blacksmiths, weavers, sculptors, and all sorts of specialized professions. These masters of wood, stone, clay, and metal would travel between Ilus looking for work. The market was central to Yoruba life and was well organized with guilds and unions where both men and women could participate, but where women had a special place in trade, having at least one elected Iyaloja, or mother of the market, who represented the traders in the Oba's palace. The Yoruba traded widely on the trans-Sahara and West African trade routes. The most traded resources were yams, salt, iron, herbs, leather, palm oil, palm wine, raffia products, textiles, and the cola nut. That's the nut that was used to make the original Coca-Cola, along with cocaine. Most Yoruba cities had multiple shrines and beautifully maintained gardens, and were surrounded with massive mud walls. One settlement called Sungbo's Eridu, built by Queen Belixu Sungbo around 1000 CE, had a 160-kilometer wall and ditch defense system. This required moving about 3.5 million cubic meters of earth, 1 million more than the pyramids, and formed a ring covering an area of about 2,000 square kilometers. That's 50% larger than modern London. This was one of the largest building projects in history. It was hidden by hundreds of years of rainforest growth, but is now joining other great African engineering marvels such as the pyramids, Timbuktu's mosques, and Great Zimbabwe. All these settlements were having a pretty chill and relaxed time, but then in the 10th century, Oduduwa came. He was probably a leader from one of the smaller settlements around Ife, but then he decided to move his people a little closer to Ife. But he didn't want to bother with all the alliances and politics in place, so war. This caused a lot of death, destruction, stabbing, maiming, some slapping probably, and Oduduwa was winning. The chiefs of Ife panicked and sent Obutala, the king of Ife, to negotiate with Oduduwa. Apparently, Obutala was really bad at it since he was constantly drunk, which, wasn't great. The negotiations went nowhere. Seeing this, people flipped to Oduduwa's side. He won the war and became the king of Ife. As king, Oduduwa gave Ife the political hierarchy, structure and bureaucracy a city of its size needed. So you might remember the names Obutala and Oduduwa from the creation of the universe, and that's because it is them. In the Yoruba religion, important living people were deified and became Orishas. In the centuries after Obutala and Oduduwa, many other remarkable people would enter the heavenly realm as Orishas. The rich and now organised city of Ife attracted immigrants, and by 1300 CE, Ife had around 100,000 inhabitants, and its industry produced iron, glass and other valuable goods. The artists at Ife around 1200 to 1400 CE crafted some of humanity's greatest pieces of art, such as the incredibly naturalistic Yoruba stone and metal sculptures. Oduduwa was a really smart guy and decided that instead of waiting to see his heirs fight each other to the death Game of Thrones style, he gave each of them a beautiful beaded crown and sent them away to found kingdoms of their own. One such prince was Oduduwa's grandson, Oranmiyan. Between the late 12th and early 13th centuries, Oranmiyan travelled to the far northwest borderlands of the Yoruba area. According to oral tradition, a chief of the Bariba people gave Oranmiyan a snake and told him to follow it. That snake had a great eye for real estate because it led Oranmiyan to a perfect location where he founded the city of Oyo.